NFL Week 2 All Picks. For those of you new to the channel, this is our second of two weekly NFL videos. First one, we do our score forecast, and then we take a little more time. We look at every game. We have NFL Plus. Is great, by the way. Watch them all, then make our picks against the spread for all the games with our detailed information. Thursday night game, Buffalo at Miami. Looking at the head-to-head records, Buffalo's won 4 out of 5. Advantage to Miami would be playing at Hard Rock Stadium in September, but it's a night game that kind of negates some of the heat. We think Buffalo's got the edge. Like I said, 4 out of 5. Dolphins had a lucky win over the Jags. We think the luck comes back to the Bills this time, 27-24. Raiders at the Ravens. The Ravens had one of the more disappointing losses in Week 1, losing by a literal toe on the road at Kansas City. We thought they showed great comeback ability in the second half. The Chiefs were really sharp. Ravens had a few turnovers there that kind of bit them. But we think with the Raiders going to face Baltimore in their home opener in Baltimore, we think the Ravens have a huge edge there. We like them winning by 10 plus. Take them 27-17 over the visiting Raiders. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. Next up, we've got the garbage pick of the week. This is our new feature where we're going to pick a team that nobody likes, a team that looked horrible the week before, but some of the technical setups benefit us. We're looking at the Chargers, the Panthers. Yeah, we know the Chargers won. They won hosting the Raiders. The Panthers look absolutely terrible against the Saints, but I said before, we thought the Saints would win that one in a blowout. That's exactly what happened. I think the Chargers win this one 21-17. We have some value there on the Panthers. You get that 7.5, 8-point line. Home underdog. Saints at the Cowboys, two teams coming off big Week 1 victories. The Saints absolutely pummeled the Panthers, and the Cowboys with a big win over the Browns on the road. Very impressive against one of the best defenses in the league. What are you going to do there? But the Saints have a surprisingly good pass defense. Lattimore and others can really shut down the pass. We think it'll slow down Dak just a little bit, but we think the Cowboys are really good at home, but they do not deserve to be 7-point favorites over the visiting Saints. We think this is going to be closer than people think. We recommend you take the Saints as an underdog play. The line is currently, we leave 6.5 and 7. We think the Saints cover that number. Buccaneers at the Lions, a game we've been looking forward to, a playoff rematch. We had marked this game as fairly even. We thought maybe the Lions were about 4 or 5 points better than the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers, unfortunately for them, especially for this matchup, huge injuries to cornerback Hall and then star safety Antoine Winfield Jr. and then two other cornerbacks. Not good going against the Lions' high-powered passing attack. So we think the Lions cover this one 35-24 and then take advantage of that 6.5-point spread and cover that. Okay, now let's go look at how we did for Week 1 with Ravens and Chiefs. We lost by a toe on that one. We had the Ravens. We thought they'd win in a revenge game. Eagles, Packers, we're proud of that pick. Eagles, great performance. Dolphins, look at what we did there. We got down to 2.5. They won by 3. The line was 3.5. So look at those key numbers. Stay off those half-point lines. Steelers, Falcons, that was a loss. Kirk Cousins did not look very good. Great Steeler pass rush. Texans, Colts, another example. We got it down to 1, ended at 3. They won by 2. Watch those numbers. Vikings, great performance at New York. Saints, people were hating on this pick. Saints are great at home, great against the Panthers. Panthers are not that good. Patriots, Bengals, Cardinals, Bills. We had a teaser, lost because of that Bengals play. We will show you later. One of the worst plays we've seen since the infamous Zay Flowers fumble. Bears over the Titans. We had that. Chargers over the Raiders. Broncos, Seahawks barely got the over. We'll take it. Commanders, Bucs. We flipped our position on this. Why? I don't know. Blame me for that one. The rest of the guys had the Bucs. I switched it to Washington. We'll take the L. Browns, Cowboys. Boy, lost that one. Rams, Lions. Lions look great. And then we have the Jets 49ers. Colts to the Packers, and the Packers had to be identified as the biggest loser of Week 1. And that's not meant to be an insult, but losing the game and your franchise quarterback going to be out, I don't know, 3 to 6 weeks. We had the Packers originally picked for this game. You have to look at this one now. Anthony Richardson going up against Willis, and we think the Colts have the edge here. We like them to win this one, and a close one, 21-17 over the Packers at Lambeau. Browns at the Jaguars. Preseason, look at this game. We were already leaning Browns because of that defense. We'll touch on the defense here in a second. But looking at the Week 1 games, look at the Browns and Deshaun and that offense just were not consistent. We still never thought he was a franchise quarterback worthy of that huge contract. We're not so sure if Trevor Lawrence is either. But looking at the game against Miami, that was the game the Jaguars had in their back pocket, should have won it. We're looking at the Browns' pass defense here, number 1 in the league last year, although Dak Prescott exposed them in the Week 1 game, so we're not sure how that's going to be. We're going to switch our pick. We had the Browns originally. We're going to go with the Jaguars here over the Browns, 20-17 at home in nice, humid Jacksonville. 49ers at the Vikings. The 49ers were impressive on Monday night, but they basically did exactly what we thought they would do. It's tough for an East Coast team like the Jets to go west, play a night game. Huge edge for the West Coast 49ers. But also, Aaron Rodgers clearly wasn't 100% coming off that Achilles injury. Made a couple of miscues, fumble, interception, advantage there. I think on the road, facing the Vikings, who look really good against the Giants. Of course, we know it was the Giants. We think they're going to defend the home turf, keep this game close. We think they'll ultimately lose the 49ers, but they will cover that 6 to 7 point spread. Seahawks at the Patriots, impressive wins by both teams. We like Seattle's new defense with Mike McDonald calling the shots. We thought the Patriots, that had to be the upset of the week, if not the season. But the way they won the game sets us up for our first segment, which is the Bull play of the week. Take a look at this. When you win a game like this, that's a lucky win. And one of our rules is to always bet against the team coming off a lucky win. That would be New England, so we're going to take Seattle here in a close one, 21-17 over the home Patriots. Jets and the Titans, and as bad as the Jets look, the Titans looked even worse, we think, in losing a game they had locked up. 17-0 lead early in the game to lose via ridiculous turnovers. The Jets were off clearly the first game back for Aaron Rodgers, as we already touched on. We think that they're going to come back. This game is going to be close, but we trust Aaron Rodgers a lot more than we trust Will Levis, who might have the youth, but he also has the inexperience. So we think the Jets are going to come back, get their first win of the season. We definitely don't think the NFL wants the Jets to start off 0-2 to start the season. Giants at the Commanders, NFC divisional matchup. Both these teams are clearly struggling to get an identity. When we evaluate these teams on both sides of the ball, as much as we're impressed by the Giants' defense, they definitely have some potential there with their pass rush. We really see the upside with Jaden Daniels here. These teams are super close, but we think the difference is the home field, and we think if the Jaden Daniels can really get that offense to break out, they were definitely corralled by the Bucs last week. We think that they can win this one 24-17. We like the Commanders at home in this close matchup. Rams at the Cardinals. In this game, we're changing this from our earlier video. This game is all about the injury report. In doing more research, we saw that obviously we know Nakua is out at wide receiver for the Rams, but also Kyler Murray has a knee injury. His playing status is questionable. Also, you got offensive line injuries for the Rams. So we think, looking at the totals number, these teams have a reputation of being high scoring. They're playing indoors. Look at this number, 49. If you've got injuries on the offensive line, both teams do. We don't think they will be able to sustain drives. We recommend you take the under here. Get the number as high as 49 if you can. It's currently 48. Steelers at the Broncos, and boy, we caught a lot of grief for this pick, picking the Broncos. We have a lot of friends here, Steelers fans. We understand you guys are just passionate. But looking at a team coming off a road win, going up against a team, regardless of whether they have a rookie quarterback, who just had a tough road loss, losing at Seattle is what you're supposed to do. We think the Broncos come back here, keep it close, ultimately win the game 20-17. Again, this is a great underdog spot. Home team coming off a loss against a road team coming off a win. It's a setup that works a lot. Check it out. Bengals at the Chiefs, looking at that week one matchup against the Patriots. Classic example of a trap look-ahead game. We know the Bengals were not showing their full offense, thinking they didn't need to against the Patriots. They underestimated the Patriots' pass defense, who we identified on our video. We didn't think they'd win, clearly. And an unlucky play like this, we characterize this as an unlucky loss. Similarly, the Chiefs had a lucky win by that toe just being on the line, which would have cost them at least overtime, possibly a loss if the Ravens went for two, which I think they were planning to do. We think the Chiefs win this game, but it's closer than people think. 28-24 Chiefs. Bears at the Texans, exciting matchup between Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud. But you got to consider all wins are not created equal. We went back and watched both these victories, and the Bears were effectively gifted their win over the Titans. That throw by Will Levis at the end, I don't know what that was, for a pick six return. And then the Texans facing a tough Colts team with Anthony Richardson and that group. That's always been a tough rivalry in the past couple of years anyway. The Colts had the edge. Well, they played the Texans tight, but what Joe Mixon was doing on offense, I think that might be the key addition for the Texans this season. We think the Bears did almost nothing on offense against the Titans, which gives us the Texans pick 28-21 over the Bears. Falcons at the Eagles. We might know after week one why the Falcons drafted Michael Penix as an insurance policy. Kirk Cousins looked kind of old, slow, and rusty out there, but, game one back after an Achilles might be expected. But the team we were the most impressed with were the Philadelphia Eagles. Really, you could say the Cowboys, other teams had great Week 1 victories, but the Eagles playing the Packers, obviously a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, Jordan Love, they made a couple of miscues early. They actually lost the turnover battle 3-1, but ultimately it came back and won that game in dramatic fashion. We think that was the best performance of the season, as we said. We think they'll come back to their home turf and beat the Falcons 34-21. Look out for the Eagles-Cowboys matchup in the NFC East. Should be a great season.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.